All right, in trig, we reference something called a unit circle a lot. When we want to find sine, cosine, tangent, any trig function, if we want to find any value of an angle, then quite often we consult our unit circle, and we have a lot of data that we try to memorize. Sine of 30 is a half, sine of 45 root 2 over 2, all those kind of things. Just having that in our brain becomes really important. And now, why that works, why we know that sine of 45 or sine of 30 or sine of 60 is always going to be that. If the radius is 1, then it's simply going to be that sine is y, cosine is x. If it's not 1, like right here, I have that point 3, 4. And the radius, imagine the circle connecting all of this. Well, the radius, that diagonal length is not 1. But notice what we would have. We would have sine would be 4/5, cosine would be 3/5, tangent would be 4/3, cosecant would be 5/4, secant would be 5/3, and cotangent would be 3/4. Well, notice how if we were to produce a similar triangle where the hypotenuse is 1, well, if the hypotenuse is 1, well, we've taken that 5 and divided it by 5 to get 1. 3 divided by 5 gives us 3/5. 4 divided by 5 gives us 4/5. And so this point now is the point 3/5, 4/5. Notice how the sine of this value, what was 4/5, it's still 4/5. The sine is the y coordinate. The cosine is the x coordinate. The tangent would be sine over cosine. If we put sine over cosine, the 5s are going to cancel out. It's going to give us that 4/3. Cosecant, it's going to be the reciprocal of sine, so it's going to be 5/4. Reciprocal of cosine is going to be 5/3, and the reciprocal of tangent is going to be 3/4. If we just look at it with a radius of 1, then it makes everything so much easier because, well, the sine is simply going to be the y and the cosine is simply going to be the x. So this is why when we're looking and trying to find the any of these 6 values of an angle, we can simply consult our unit circle. We don't have to think about all circles and any kind of different radius. We can assume a radius of 1 because we know it's a ratio, and if it's a radius of 1, it would be proportional to if the radius was more than 1. That angle is unaffected.